Good evening, everyone. This is the Planning Commission regular meeting of September the 13th, 2023. We'll call this meeting to order at 6:04 PM. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cooley,
Here.
Commissioner Tinker, Commissioner Stevens, Vice Chair Colendres,
Here.
and Chairman Nathan
Here.
Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any request of any excused absence?
We did receive a request from both Commissioners Tinker and Stevens.
Okay, with that, we're going to be doing the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, so we do have an announcement. I guess the public restrooms are currently under construction. If you need to use any restroom, please contact a staff member for access to the admin offices. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
No adjustments.
Any conflicts of interest? Okay, with that, we're going to be opening the public comment for any items that are not in the agenda. This meeting will be conducted and will be open to the public and conducted in a virtual format to be inclusive of all participants' preference. Public comment participation is encouraged by emailing any comments to the city clerk's office or by calling and using the phone number provided on the front of the agenda. Are there any public comments?
Yes, I do have a written request. Miss Mary Daniel?
So we're gonna open the public comment at 6:06 PM.
All right. My name is Mary Daniel, and I would like to draw your attention to the date of September 22nd.
Can I get you to go into the mic a little so we get you on there?
Sure.
Thank you.
September 22nd, 2023. Maybe some of you know what that date is. Very important to Beaumont. Not everybody has a date like this. Maybe if I said it in numbers, it goes 9/22/23. It's our zip code. And very surprisingly, the post office thinks it's a big deal. So they're going to have a deal down at the actual post office. I have some cards that you can have canceled. They've made up a special cancellation. They're like the old ones that used to have your name on it. Well, they've got one now with the Beaumont logo, all designed by Ashley Starr on your own staff. So they're going to have that. They're going to have the postcards, going to have refreshments and stuff like that. So anyway, it's just a silly little thing. It happens on one day, one place, and then it's over and it's done. But we just thought it was kind of a fun thing to do for Beaumont. So 9/22/23, and I hope to see you there. I'll leave those postcards with your staff. And bring them down. Get them canceled. Thank you.
Thank you. I love silly days. That's great.
I'll check with the phone lines. Rudy, do we have any callers on the line?
I have no callers on the line.
Okay, with no callers on the line and anybody else, we're gonna be closing the public comment at 6:08 PM. And we're moving to action item C, approval of the minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
As for roll call, please.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes.
Commissioner Colendres,
Yes.
and Chairman Smith.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna be moving to action item C2, the amendment to the general plan use and the sphere of influence to adjust the city boundary between the cities of Beaumont and Calimesta and adopt a resolution authorizing Riverside County LAFCL proceedings. Staff report, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Pleasure to be here with you this evening to bring this item before you. As Vice Chair Colindres said, before you tonight is a request to amend the general plan land use map as well as the city's sphere of influence. And the purpose for this is to adjust the city boundary between the cities of Calimesa and the city of Beaumont. This will occur along Champions Drive near Desert Lawn Parkway, and we do have a map that can be shown. If IT or whoever's back there can, there we go, put that up. So this gives you a general idea of the location and how the boundary is going to be adjusted. So it's basically a half street right-of-way along Champions Drive that's going to be brought into the city of Beaumont, along with a small piece, which you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, a little triangular piece, which is a monument for the Tournament Hills neighborhood that is currently owned still by Tri-Point Development and will ultimately be dedicated or given over to the HOA for that development once it's brought into the city. The city is currently maintaining this area, provides services to the area, and essentially when this was developed as part of the Ferry Canyon neighborhood, the boundary line went straight down the middle of the street, which is not uncommon when you're using, cities or center lines to divide boundaries, like you see on Highland Springs, right? Highland Springs, we have west half is on, is Beaumont, the east half is Banning. But what happened here with the way this was developed is, for some reason, the boundary lines were not quite they didn't quite line up or make it convenient for providing services once the roads were built and the medians were installed. So we have a lot of issues out there with determining who's responsible for what. And so since this area primarily serves the residents of Beaumont and our residential neighborhoods, the city had determined that the best course of action really is for us to take that into our boundary, since we're already providing the maintenance, we're already providing the services, and our residents are the ones that, primarily use that area. So we have been working with the city of Calimesa and Tri-Point over the last 9 months to work this out. This is a multi-step process. And so what happens here is the city has to amend the sphere of influence prior to taking action, or prior to LAFCO taking action to actually amend the boundary. Right now, our city boundary in this location is coterminous with the sphere, meaning we don't have any area to expand out like we do on the south end. So we are requesting to amend the sphere and then to adjust the boundary to move up to where the sphere is. We're not requesting any additional sphere expansion beyond just what we need in order to take that area into our boundary. The city of Calimesa is taking similar actions that our city is taking, so their planning commission and their city council will also have to act on this, and they're running on a similar timeline. We're expecting this to be before our council on October 3rd, and I believe they're taking it to their council on October 2nd. If both city councils agree on what's been proposed, which staff has already vetted, staff for both cities have already vetted, they will agree to the plan of service, which essentially says the city is already maintaining, and so we're going to continue to do so. We would then adopt, councils from each city will adopt the resolutions saying we agree to this and we authorize LAFCO to initiate proceedings so that we can formally adjust the boundaries. Then the city and city of Beaumont, city of Calimesa, and Tri-Point are all party to the LAFCO application. Once Olive once the cities have approved what needs to be approved, then the city of Beaumont will take the lead in filing the application with LAFCO and monitoring that process through until the LAFCO board takes action. So you have included in the agenda packet the draft resolutions that will go to council. We're seeing the map that's proposed that shows essentially what will be adjusted, the plan of services in there. This is a CEQA exempt action, meaning there's no real impact. We're just moving the line. We're not creating anything new. And of course, this was publicly noticed as required by law for both Planning Commission and City Council. So I know this is something new that we haven't seen in a number of years here, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have about this action. But staff is requesting that the commission forward a recommendation of approval to expand the city's sphere of influence, as well as to amend the general plan land use map as it's shown, and then also forward a recommendation to the city council to authorize LAFCO proceedings. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions for staff?
It'll be nice to finally get this area cleaned up and made sense of, so. It's been a point of contention, I know, with homeowners associations for a while of who's doing what and where and how, and so.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. City manager and I have both met with the HOA out in Tournament Hills. And like I said, we've been working with the staff over in Calamasa for about 9 months, trying to make sure everybody is good with what's being proposed. So hopefully this will help everybody out.
Yeah.
Are there any requests to speak for this item?
I have no written comments. Rudy, do we have any callers on the line?
I have no callers on the line.
Okay, so we're gonna be looking for a motion here.
To make a motion that we. I'll make the motion that we make the recommendation, approve this and make the recommendation to the city council as set forth in the presentation.
I will second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes.
Vice Chair Colindres,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna be moving to action item C3, conditional use permit for Refuge Cigar Lounge.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Jillian Fountain, Planning Staff. An application for a conditional use permit to operate a cigar lounge tobacconist store within a suite of an existing multiple tenant building was submitted to the city on June 21st, 2023. A public notice was placed in the press enterprise and property owners within 300 feet were notified of the public hearing. One comment letter was submitted via email and is attached in your staff report. The zoning code did not identify cigar lounges as a use in the land use matrix. Therefore, a CUP is required due to the recent determination of use that was approved by City Council on February 21st, 2023. On September 5th, 2023, the City Council approved an amendment to the current parking requirements in the downtown district that will temporarily suspend off-street parking requirements for existing non-residential structures. This will not interfere with the current requirements for ADA parking, as those will be continued to follow. The property is zoned downtown mixed use and has a general planned land use designation of downtown mixed use. The surrounding properties have a similar zoning and land use designation, apart from a single-family residential to the east. The site is currently developed with an existing vacant suite between Craft Lounge and Harem Salon. The use proposes to operate from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. No cigarettes, marijuana, or hookah products will be allowed to be consumed or sold on premises. Additionally, this application does not allow for alcohol sales or consumption. The project is exempt from CEQA as a Class 1 existing facility categorical exemption. The required CUP findings can be adequately met and are included in the staff report. At this time, staff recommends that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing and approve CUP 2023-0071, subject to the proposed conditions of approval and direct staff to prepare an NOE for staff to file with the Riverside County Clerk Recorder. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, myself or the planning manager can assist, and the property owner is, or the business owner is here as well.
Do we have any questions for staff?
Is smoking permitted outside of the lounge at all, or is it, or it'd be contained within the unit?
There's a shared patio, or shared outdoor space for all of those units there, so, staff has not placed any conditions on prohibiting it outdoor versus indoor. So that would be something that commission could discuss if they like.
And we can look into what the state law is, because I know there's regulations about smoking adjacent to a building.
The business
I
owner
was-
may actually have more information than we do.
I was
on
more
that.
concerned with, along the street side than the patio side, since it's kind of tied there, but
We can add a condition that prohibits that on the front.
just compliant with state law, yeah.
Yes.
Regarding the letter that was received, I know that there was a question there about parking and how they were gonna, I guess, mitigate that with there being, or how to fix the issue with there. I think the craft have made an outside patio or there's some storage containers. How many stalls do we know that are there now that are available to be parked on?
There are, so they have the two ADA that are existing, and then let me look over here. I have it in the pictures section of this. Where are my pictures? Oh. It is currently. It's about 11, and that is if they do take away the patio area, because the patio area is on the, some of the parking spots.
Is there any possible way that we could get maybe like an agreement shared space? Because I know next, there's that bigger complex, right, where the laundromat's at, the La Plaza. Maybe get something written to be a shareable parking there, just to, so that the other business owners around there know, hey, we got other things in place that we're utilizing other people's shared space for parking, just so that they don't, their comments doesn't like fall on deaf, silent ears.
So if I may, I guess, make an announcement for the commission. So the city council actually relieved all the parking requirements in that small downtown area temporarily for a period of 18 months, or not to exceed 18 months, while we get ready to update the zoning code. So right now, if a project were to come in or like that's before you tonight, technically speaking, although the ordinance hasn't taken effect, within a short period of time, the parking requirements from essentially west of California over to Palm and then from Fifth Avenue up to 8th are wiped out. So we're no longer requiring that parking standards are met, at least until we figure out how to right-size the code for downtown instead of the blanket standards we have right now that apply to the regular retail centers. So if that helps, I know it doesn't necessarily maybe fully address, but it does provide some relief in the sense that we're not requiring them to have a minimum number.
Is there any public comment for this item?
This one requires a public hearing, correct? Okay. If you want to go ahead and open the public hearing.
I'm gonna be opening the public hearing at 6:23 p.m.
I have no written requests. Rudy, do we have any callers on the line?
I have no callers on the line.
I'm sorry. Sure, yeah.
My name is Ronald Ariano. I am the owner of the Refuge Cigar Lounge. I currently operate one as far as the Refuge in Redlands. We've been operating now for 5+ years. I am a Beaumont resident, and I'm looking forward and really excited to engage in a higher level, maybe more refined social aspect where people, especially the community, can get together, relax, hang out, and enjoy camaraderie around fine tobacco products. So, thank you for your consideration in this.
Is your Redlands, excuse me, is your Redlands facility similarly sized?
Actually, yes, it is. We do not have an outside patio per se with the Redlands locations, but as far as floor space, it's very similar in size as to the one in Beaumont.
In a typical operation, how many customers, what kind of the maximum customer capacity you see?
Well, it's funny with our type of business. You pretty much have to be retired or not have, someplace to be to hang out, right? So during the day, typically, we might have a few members, maybe 2 to 3 members that hang out in the lounge for a few hours during the day. And then it really picks up as far as in the evening, as far as customers, maybe 5, 6, depending on what's going on. But typically, we're primarily grab and run. In regards to the nature of our business, we'll have maybe, 75% of that throughout the day prior to the evening be primarily grab and run.
So primarily more customers after kind of business hours.
To stay and sit in the lounge,
Yeah.
and participate,
Okay.
yeah.
Again, just because with the parking issues, right? I'm trying to, I guess, see where everybody's gonna be parking, or, because I know that area is a little weird as far as parking, and I know that a lot of people park at the Napa, parking lot rather than, just because it seems almost more easier. I think the parking behind the craft is kind of almost unseen, so it's kind of like weird to know, hey, where do I park? Typically, either you park in the street or you just kind of pull up to Napa and like I'm gonna walk up. I guess maybe if you could somehow address customers, let them know, hey, next time just park over here. This is our designated parking, just so that you're a good neighbor as a business owner, so for everybody
Absolutely.
else.
Yeah, I've talked to Jimmy, the owner of Craft Lounge, and we've been discussing that in detail, and we've been recommending people park, 7th Street, our adjacent street to us, instead of parking way down. It's actually closer to just park a little bit further down 7th than go over by the Napa place. So that's what we've been recommending as far as to a lot of people that have been coming in and wanting to partake in sitting in the back patio or, the businesses in general. And we'll continue to do so, so.
Question.
Yes, sir.
How many people or how frequently do you anticipate that the back lounge will be used?
As far as the shared patio, back patio?
That's correct.
Actually, in the evening, I would say more frequently than during the day. I mean, the weather's getting nicer. If people want to partake in, enjoying a fine cigar outside on the back patio, it'd be happening now during this time of year. But again, it really just depends on people's mood in regards to how they want to enjoy. But it wouldn't be like primarily outside versus primarily inside. That's going to be at the customer's discretion for the most part.
I have questions and concerns what the state allows or does not allow as far as the use of smoking in an outside open area.
Well, I know that we won't be smoking to abide with California state laws. We will not be allowing any sort of tobacco use or smoking in the front or adjacent sidewalk to the building. But because the back patio or the shared use section is enclosed by a gate and it's for our customers specifically, the customers are notified, and that hasn't been an issue as far as in regards to the laws that I've looked up.
We are proposing a condition based on the earlier comments that the outdoor area along Beaumont Avenue and the rear patio should comply with all requirements established by the state of California regarding smoking outside. And I'm going to try to look stuff up online as we continue to talk.
Yeah, because we currently do an event with a restaurant actually in Tartans in downtown Redlands. And once a month, we opened up the patio to cigar smoking. As long as it's a special event and it is enclosed, the state doesn't have an issue with that. It's only when it's, public walkways and adjacent
Right.
buildings and all that, so.
We're pulling up a graphic that should be helpful.
Going back to the parking concerns. After hours, after City Hall hours, they also do have options to park in the parking lot down here. That's right off of 7th Street. So there is an open,
That's where I'll often park when I go
yeah,
to events down
there's an
there.
open lot there.
Is there a plan for the city to help to direct people to where public parking is available?
Yes, so currently, the city is working on some monument signage as well as wayfinding type signage for the downtown as well as citywide. Part of what council's goals and directives have been with the downtown revitalization and the incentive programs have been to encourage people to come downtown, park in the city lots and, walk to the businesses or park in a public parking, park on the street or, whatever, and walk to the businesses. So as we get ready to wrap up the downtown revitalization plan, which will be by the end of the year, we will have some more clear direction laid out on the steps to take to start moving down that path. So we're trying to be, it's taken a little, takes time, government, nothing is quick, right? But we want to make sure that the money that we spend and the effort that we put into it does what it's intended to do so that we benefit the businesses and the residents. So yes, at some point, I think you will see a more widespread effort to call people's attention to the lot outside the PD as well as the lot on 7th Street.
The lot that's on 7th on the other side of Beaumont Avenue, is that public or is that private?
On
Whatever the next block is to the west,
adjacent City Hall still?
No.
Oh, no, adjacent, on the west.
on the west.
So we do not own that one.
Okay.
I do have a graphic if the control room wants to broadcast that on the screens.
And this is from the California Department of Public Health website.
So it does talk about government buildings, personal building, personal vehicles, public transportation, and workplaces. So I don't see anything in here that pertains particularly to a business.
And it does say smoking is allowed in tobacco shops and in private, wait, scroll back up, Carol, right there. And in private smokers' lounges, as long as it occurs in an enclosed area or attached to retail or wholesale tobacco shop. So I think we fall into that.
So the private lounge in the
Yeah,
back,
to
the
that
private
category,
patio would
right.
fall into there.
Is there any other request to speak, or should I close the public hearing?
I have no other requests.
Okay, thank you.
And I would like to remind the commission, part of what the Beaumont Municipal Code allows for is revocation of a CUP. Although we never attempt, or we never want to go down that path, if staff does receive complaints, if PD receives complaints, or if there's some major outcry that there are issues there, we can initiate proceedings to bring the conditional use permit back to you guys. We can revisit the conditions, see if things need to be modified or change at all, or if it were severe enough, then we could move down the path of revocation. But that is something that exists currently in the municipal code that we that we could use if we need
I
to.
know there were previous issues with a previous owner at a different location. So I am glad to hear that you have, you are not like that.
When I first moved to Beaumont, I still work in the cigar industry on the sales side as a national brand manager. So I know all the lounges, and that was a bad one.
So I'm glad to hear that you have another venue that's been in operation for a long time. I think that establishes that, there's, good business practice that is followed, so,
Been in the industry 14 years, so
yeah.
straight and narrow for me.
All right, with that, we're gonna be closing the public comment, period at 6:34 PM. And I am gonna be looking for a motion.
Let's see. Get down here to the findings. So I will move to approve, as presented. Just keep it short. Oh, with the additional condition. Yeah.
Condition number 50.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes.
Vice Chair Colindres,
Yes.
and Chairman Smith.
Yes, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're gonna be moving to item C4, conditional use permit for number CUP 2023-0072 for lab batting cages.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners, Carol Kendrick, Planning Staff. We did recommend that this item be continued to the September 27th meeting. We were still trying to work out some issues with the title report. However, on Sunday, I received an email from the applicant saying they're withdrawing their application. So I have no report to provide, and this application's been withdrawn at this point.
So do we need to continue off calendar, or do we just?
Nope, it's done.
Just done?
It's
Okay.
done.
Okay.
So,
Just that one.
okay, so we're gonna go to item D, planning manager comment.
Hello again. Just a couple of updates for City Council that occurred last Tuesday. There were a couple items of interest for community development, including approval of a downtown, utilization of a downtown grease trap program for 704 East Sixth Street, and also approval of a facade enhancement incentive program at 960 Beaumont Avenue. There was a new incentive that was proposed for fire sprinklers that would be eligible for premium casual restaurants, sit-down fine dining, bars and cocktail lounges, breweries, distilleries, small-scale alcohol production and entertainment, and it was offering a 1-to-1 match not to exceed $50,000 on a project totaling $100,000 or more. And the council appropriated $1 million towards that program. As mentioned in the previous item, the downtown parking waiver was approved by council and is going for its second reading next week, as well as the non-conforming amendment to the code. We also we continued the objective design standards due to some scheduling conflicts, but that will be going before the city council at their meeting next Tuesday. And also at the last meeting, we had a discussion about the signs, and usually that's a very touchy subject, but that actually went fairly smooth. Also, we had Economic Development Committee today, and that basically provided an update on the incentive programs and discussion on the existing guidelines and some hurdles that some of the applicants are seeing as they apply for these incentives. I also passed out Assembly Bill 2162. I just kind of wanted to give you just a little heads up on this. So this is regarding housing, and basically what it does, it allows multifamily housing by right, which means that it would not come to the Planning Commission. So my concern is I just wanted to make sure that if you start seeing vertical construction that hasn't come to you, it's probably this. We do have one application in. They haven't been approved yet. It does require the city to streamline the process, and it does give some parking concessions. It does also kind of give a little bit more leeway on CEQA. The issue that we're finding is that the state also has water quality management requirements, so that is delaying the project that we're working on because, you know, they're not working in concert together. So I just provided the entire bill. The first 2 pages kind of I've highlighted of my own, but it kind of goes into what's going on there. So when we do have these that are approved administratively, we'll certainly let the commission know, but I don't want you to be concerned if you start seeing construction and say, wait, I never saw this.
So I had a question and then answered it on here. It's in zones where that type of construction is permitted, so any zone changes or general plan updates would still have to come to Planning Commission.
Right, but I mean, typically it would be a plot plan that we'd bring forward, and now we have to approve it administratively.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely keep you updated as those come in. I did want to let you know that for the second meetings, those are optional only, and I did have them marked off as canceled for the second meeting in November and December, so we are not scheduling anything for those. And I am updating the project status report, kind of revamping it. We'll be adding in what planner's working on it. We're gonna make it more comprehensive, and then we're gonna have time tracking. With our permitting system, EnerGov, we now have a time tracking area, so we can start keeping records of how much time we spend on applications, which helps when applicants are disputing charges. It lets us know how much time we're spending and if we're collecting the right amount of fees for that, so it'll be helpful in our next fee study. And it was also something that one of the council members had asked that we keep track of our time. So we are doing that. So I'm going to start capturing, you know, what our monthly, what we've charged to deposit cases and flat fee cases for planning as a whole. And so hopefully at the next meeting, I'll have that revamped report. Reminder, Jillian and I will be attending the California American Planning Association Conference in Fresno. We're leaving on Friday. Jillian will be coming back on Tuesday. Unfortunately, Ms. Jensen is not here tonight and will not be able to attend. So she will be participating virtually, but we're hoping that we can bring you some updated information on California planning items. And then I just wanted to say that Ms. Jensen just passed her 1-year anniversary in planning. So we're very excited about that. And I am working with her on kind of doing some more advanced things. So we are working on a general plan update to the land use map. Ms. Jensen has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. She's going to be presenting that to you at your next meeting. And we also did have a lot of staff help from our management analyst, Daniel Diaz, that works for community development. He identified all the parcels that are incorrectly designated. And we are trying to kind of have the planners go out and see what other departments are doing. So the assistant planners are going to be scheduling ride-alongs with building inspectors, code enforcement officers, and public works inspectors. I think it just gives them a better view, a different perspective, and just will make it, you know, it just will make it easier as they're reviewing projects or things come in, and they can start kind of anticipating what other departments might say and just, do that a little bit. So I think that'll be great. And then in the refuge application, we did incorporate the pictures, which we're going to be doing on all project applications, as well as we included the surrounding property owner certification so that you can see that it's less than 6 months. Because sometimes residents come in and say, I didn't get notified, so, it has to be less than 6 months. And then the radius map, so if they want to point out where they live, we can say, oh, you're just outside the 300. So we're just trying to put more information in there. It's helpful for you as decision makers. And that's all I had.
Well, enjoy your ride along with Public Works. It's the best. Not that I'm biased.
And let's see, for your next meeting, all we have right now is the general plan update. So like I said, Ms. Jensen will be presenting that, and it's,
We'll also have signs. I just haven't told Carol yet. So since we received direction from council to formally make the amendments to the sign code that they had been discussing, we just advertised that today to make it for the 27th.
That's on the that's for September 27th? Or?
yes.
Yes, okay.
And currently, we have no items for October 11th. Today, we did release the ISMND for Xenia Apartments. So that will be coming to the Planning Commission on October 25th, and then it will go on to council because they have a map. We're still working with Beaumont Point on, kind of tying up some things. We do anticipate that will be coming to you soon. And we are also working on kind of tying up the small little things that are outstanding on Potrero Logistics. And I have a consultation with Orchard Logistics and Morongo on Friday. And so I think that's the one thing that we need to resolve, and we'll be releasing that EIR shortly. So there's kind of a lot of traction right now. And yeah, that's all I had at this time.
Okay. So just one point, the agenda says adjourn till the 11th, October 11th. So that will be until September 27th will be the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
So the October 11 meeting still be held?
Well, we don't have any items scheduled right now. I know that Chairman Smith is not going to be here, so I do keep notes when you indicate that you're not going to be able to attend. So I don't have anything pending for that. We do have to advertise in 2 weeks, so I don't think that at this point we don't have anything, so that there's the potential that will be canceled.
Okay, I will not be able to attend the September 27 meeting.
Noted.
All right, with nothing else, we're gonna be adjourning this planning commission meeting at 6:47 p.m.